everybody, Kristen from A Mindful Mom here. Today I'm going to share with you my husband and daughter's favorite soup recipe ever. This recipe for Instant Pot Broccoli Cheddar Soup is a knockoff of Panera Bread's famous soup, and they've declared this version better, and it's so easy to make. So let's get cooking. To start this recipe, we're going to hit saute on our Instant Pot, and I'm going to add in just a little bit of oil, about a half a tablespoon, and about 2 tablespoons of butter. While our oil and butter are heating, I am going to mince up a small yellow onion here. My butter is just about melted here, so I'm going to add in my onion. I also have 1 carrot that's been shredded. You could purchase pre-shredded carrots, but it's much cheaper just to shred it yourself. And we're going to use our shredder later to grate our cheese for this soup, so you only have to get 1 thing dirty. We're going to let our onions and carrots saute here just for a couple minutes. This step is totally not necessary. You could certainly add raw carrots and raw onions to your soup and it would still be delicious. But the flavor is a little bit better, I find, if you take the time to saute your carrots and onions first. While that's working, I have a head of fresh broccoli here that we're going to chop into little florets. You could use frozen broccoli. I find fresh is best, but if you have a bag of frozen broccoli florets that you'd like to use, go ahead. We're just gonna chop this into bite-sized pieces, and you wanna remove most of the stem here. You can save that for like filling for fried rice or to add to egg rolls. I love doing that, shredding it up. It's even great in salads. My carrots and onions a stir there. Okay, our onions and carrots are looking nice and caramelized, so we're gonna hit cancel on our Instant Pot to turn off the saute function, and you know the drill. We must deglaze our inner pot. To do so, we're gonna add just a little bit of, I have chicken stock today. You could certainly use vegetable broth to keep this vegetarian friendly. And you want to use low sodium stock just to control the level of salt in the overall recipe. Scrape up any brown bits there. Not really anything there. And then I'm gonna pour in about 2 3/4 cups of my broth here. I'm reserving just a little bit of the chicken stock so that we can dissolve some cornstarch in it after our soup has cooked to thicken up our broccoli soup. Now to season it up, I'm just gonna add in just a pinch of salt, not much, some freshly cracked black pepper, just to taste, about a teaspoon of garlic powder. I find that fresh minced garlic kind of overwhelms the flavors in this soup, so garlic powder is the way to go. And then I have about 4 cups or 1 head of broccoli florets that I've chopped into bite-sized pieces. We're just gonna place those right in the broth. And that's it. We're gonna pop our lid on our Instant Pot. Make sure your venting knob is pointed towards sealed, and to set the cooking time on this soup, we're gonna set it for 0 minutes, which sounds crazy, but it's the perfect amount of time to just tenderize the broccoli, but make it so that it's not completely disintegrated in our soup. And by setting the cook time for 0 minutes, all it means is the Instant Pot's gonna come to pressure and there won't be any cooking time. So to do this, you're gonna hit manual or pressure cook, use the plus or minus buttons until it reads 0. Okay, so our soup came to pressure, and then it immediately went to the default where it's keeping warm. We're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes, and that's going to just let some of the pressure be released naturally so that we don't have hot liquid spewing all over our kitchen. We're still gonna get a little bit of liquid using this recipe, but it won't be quite as much as if we had tried to do a quick release of pressure. So while our Instant Pot is just doing its things, hanging out over there, I'm going to make my thickener. I have that little bit of reserved chicken stock over here and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Add that in and just give that a whisk. If you have an allergy to cornstarch, you could use arrowroot powder in its place. Set that to the side, and let's talk about cheese. I have a huge block of sharp cheddar cheese here. We're not going to use all this cheese. You definitely want to use a sharp cheddar because it's going to give our soup so much flavor, right? It's a broccoli cheddar soup after all. Now, you do want to grate the cheese yourself. You can do this in a food processor, or you can do it on a box grater like I'm doing today. I had grated my carrot myself, as I mentioned, and so I'm just gonna use the same grater to grate my cheddar cheese. Now, the reason that we grate our cheese ourselves rather than relying on bagged shredded cheese is because that bagged cheese is coated in anti-caking agents, which causes our cheese to not melt as smooth, and it can leave our soup with a gritty taste. And we want a creamy, luscious broccoli cheese soup, not a gritty broccoli cheese soup. So trust me, it is totally worth the extra little bit of effort to grate the cheese yourself. And you're looking for about 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese. Okay, 5 minutes has passed since the pressure has been reached, and I know this because it says L005, so I'm gonna hit cancel on my Instant Pot, and then we need to do a quick release of the remaining pressure. To do this, you wanna use a long utensil of some sort, stand back, and then slowly release the venting knob from the sealed to the venting position. This is called a controlled pressure release. So rather than just knocking it over, I'm doing a little bit at a time. And you can see this steam coming up right now. That's a good reminder that you never want to do a quick release of pressure underneath your kitchen cabinets. If you did that day after day after day, you're certainly going to ruin the bottom of your cabinets. Once pressure has fully been released, depending on your pressure cooker model, your lid will either unlock or your floating valve will float from the up position, just float down, unlocking the lid. There we go. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our Instant Pot back to saute so that we can thicken up our soup here. And as you can see, the broccoli, it's not vibrantly green, but it's perfectly cooked and it's still intact. As we add in our cornstarch mixture here, it is going to break up a little bit, the broccoli, just like Panera Bread's broccoli cheddar soup. Just giving this mixture another little whisk, just to make sure it's fully incorporated, no lumps. And then we're gonna add that into our soup here. We're just gonna whisk that just for a couple minutes. We just wanna thicken up our soup a little bit here. And you can see that as I whisk it, the broccoli florets kind of fall apart into those little bite-sized pieces. That's why we left our broccoli into 1 to 1.5 inch chunks. So you just wanna whisk that every little bit, and you don't need to thicken it long. You just want it just to come together just a little bit, sort of like a chowder, like a thick, thick soup. We're also going to add in 2 cups of half and half. You could certainly use heavy cream and make a ridiculously rich broccoli cheddar soup. Nobody would complain about that. You could also use whole milk or even 2% milk if you want to go on the lighter end. I find half and half is perfection. This is not a low-calorie soup, but it is worth every calorie. It's really, really, really cheesy and creamy and just hits the spot, especially on a cold winter day. You can see the soup is bubbling up here. Again, we don't need to let it bubble long. It's looking pretty good. It's looking like it's thickening nicely there. So we can hit cancel on our Instant Pot to turn off that saute function. I'm gonna add in the half and half. I'm also going to add in this cheese here. Get off that from the box grater first. We don't want any cheese to go to waste. That's good, and I'm just gonna give this a little stir. And then we're just gonna pop the lid on the Instant Pot and just let it sit 2 to 3 minutes just to let that cheese melt and the half and half to warm up. Okay, we're ready to dish this soup out now. Look at it. It looks so cheesy and so creamy. Oh, I can't wait to dig in. If you guys love Panera Broccoli Cheddar Soup, or really any broccoli cheddar soup, I'm telling you, this is so good and it is so, so easy to make. And even though it's not a low-calorie soup, it's made with really wholesome ingredients and you know exactly what's going in it, and it could not be more delicious. All right, hopefully I won't burn my tongue here, as I've been known to do many, many times. So, so, so good. It's so creamy. It's so cheesy. And sauteing the onions and the carrots in the butter to start this recipe, I know is an extra step, but it is worth it. You get that buttery, almost sweet taste from the onions after they've caramelized, and it's just incredibly, incredibly delicious. You guys are gonna love this recipe. You can get the full recipe on amindfulmom.com, and if you're looking for more cozy, hearty soups, be sure to check out my next recipe where I share with you how to make Instant Pot loaded potato soup. Until then, happy cooking.